Good morning, Ventura, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of Fun with HR. Well, you know the drill. We talk about you, we sprinkle in some HR. You never know what to expect.
We talk about you.
Well, Ventura, we feature Ventura.
We talk about people in Ventura.
Yes.
So we don't talk behind their back.
No, naturally not. We just put it on the air.
All right. I like that.
Yeah.
Good morning, Rosandra.
Hi, what's going on?
So this week was pretty interesting.
Was it?
Yeah. We got a flat tire for the first time in like a long time.
Yeah, and it just so happened that I saw Facebook reminded you that a year ago, was it a year ago?
On that exact same
day.
day, I got 2 flats in one day.
So what I've learned from this is in 2023, we are not getting out of anything on February 2nd. First.
February 1st, we just don't do anything.
Don't do anything. We don't drive. We don't do anything.
Nope, we just stay home.
Okay.
So, ought to run.
Yes. We are up to 8 people, and we're slowly catching up to that other team that we need to beat. And we are now to the point where we're sending out emails with the reminder for people who have committed but haven't really followed through.
Spence.
Yes, that's you, Spence.
Tell me more about this follow through.
Follow through means actually signing up. You know, we can't count you unless you sign up. So please do so.
This is like the Jerry Lewis syndrome. I'm going to do it at the very last second, so when they.
So you're going to be our winning vote, is
That's
what you're
right.
saying.
Exactly. I want to be the guy.
Okay.
Just a reminder, though, they slowly increase prices, so the longer you wait, the more you're going to pay. So there's some pain that goes along with waiting.
Yeah. Most definitely don't wait till the last minute.
Okay.
Plus, don't you want to also be entered into our drawing for Frenchie's manicure or pedicure?
I can't.
After the run, I'm in.
I can't. Yeah. Spencer's going to go straight from the run to Frenchie's and go, give me a pedicure, rather.
Well, he can have a manicure, too.
No, but the pedicure after a run?
Yes.
Seriously?
It'll feel really good.
Oh, I don't know.
Anybody that's had a pedicure will tell you soaking your feet is awesome.
I don't know if I want to be that manicurist, though, that deals with Spencer's feet after a run. Just saying.
Well, maybe we should have some fundraising around that. Help Spence out.
Yeah, we could do that. Anyway, so the challenge is if Fun with HR team has more members than Ashley's team, Ashley is going to donate an additional $300 to the Autism Society.
So it's a win-win, and we need you, meaning
is.
all of Ventura, to help us so that we can beat her.
So even though you may have been on Ashley's team in the past, you need to sign up for Fun with HR team this year because we need that additional $300 donation for the Autism Society.
Okay, the gauntlet's been thrown, and now we just need people to follow through.
Go to oughttorun.org and sign up today. And speaking of runs, another charity that's really close to my heart, the Ronald McDonald Family Rooms at VCMC are doing a walk on the same day. So I'm going to clone myself so I could do both on the same day. But that's also on April 24th. And it's really important that we support the Ronald McDonald Family Rooms because they do a lot of good work in helping children, and in particular their families, negotiate some really tragic issues that these kids are going through. So the Ronald McDonald Walk for Kids is April 24th, as is the Ought to Run. No matter which one you decide to participate in or both, they're both really great charities and great things to support. So sign up.
Okay. That sounds like something we need to back up to.
So, what were we dealing with this week, Rosandra?
Oh my goodness. So I have to tell you, as far as HR is concerned, this was like an amazing week to be in HR. We had to deal with harassment, diversity in the workplace, Mostly, I think we're seeing how our mental issues are slowly creeping into the work arena. But the interesting part for me is that it kind of all meshes together after a while. Let me explain. So when somebody's not feeling well, whether they're lonely, they're depressed, or however the case may be, if you're just not feeling well, um, I do want you to know that there's absolutely places that you can go and get some help. This is not what we're going to talk about. But I want you all to remember that when you're working with someone and they're acting out of the ordinary, don't poke the bear and keep asking what's wrong, what are you doing, well, you're making me uncomfortable, and all of that good nature. Because as much as we want to help, sometimes that just makes it worse. Why do I say this? Um, we were dealing with 4 harassment claims filed this week when all the people were doing was asking what's wrong. And they were asking what's wrong because the person was acting odd. What is odd? Out of the ordinary. Showing up an hour and a half late to work. Sure, we're going to ask what's wrong.
That's a problem.
Sure. But the answer, none of your business, is not okay. Again, it's a matter of let's kind of figure out how to work together and how to still work together. The other thing that we encountered was that um, we all know terms. This is how old I am. I used to have an encyclopedia set. Mom and Dad, thank you very much for investing in that. Because now,
Britannica.
of course, but now people go on the internet.
Bought
So,
ours door to door.
right. So there's some people that are throwing terms out there that really scare people. Microaggression. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that it doesn't belong in the way that it was said, but sometimes people just throw terms to kind of frighten people away. I feel you're discriminating against me. You are harassing me. This is a microaggression. This is not blah, blah, blah. The whole point is that when people say these things, sometimes it's not necessarily what they're meaning. There's something else that's bubbling under the surface that we really do need to attend to.
So, as an employer, if your employee comes in an hour and a half late and you ask, what's the problem? Why are you an hour and a half late? And you get the answer, it's none of your business. How's the employer supposed to deal with that? Because it is the employer's business.
Oh, absolutely, it's the employer's business. I would say that that would be an ideal situation where you need to document that. You need to document that it's first and foremost the employee was late. You also need to document that when they were asked about it, that the response that was given was unacceptable. And I would also take it a step further and say, we're going to plan on helping you not have this happen. So we need to make sure that you have several alarms, that you have a plan in action. Because what I'm hearing from the employees is, well, I need help and you're not giving it to me. And sometimes it is just a matter of just maybe they haven't thought about things like that. Now, when I was an employee way, way back, I did this on my own. But I also find that there are people that don't think of things like that. So making sure that your employees understand that it is your business to ask them why they were late is kind of fundamental to being an employer. Document, document, document. It's the best thing.
So, what you're saying is document, but you may never get the answer why they were late.
No, you may never get the answer, but I don't think it's the answer that we need to really talk about. It's the tone, the perceived attitude, and the hostility that it's none of your business was said. That's what I would really be concerned with. Because for anybody that's around that person, how do we know they're not creating a hostile work environment for them? How do we know that everybody else is not walking around on eggshells and in essence, they're worried that they can't really communicate how this is affecting them? It's not a one-person workplace anymore, if it ever was. We just need to again learn to work together.
Okay, I get that. Let's talk a little bit about diversity in the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're working on a diversity, inclusion, and what was the third part?
Equality statement and
Equality
policy.
statement
Yes.
and policy. And we hear a lot about social equity.
Mm-hmm.
Where does this statement fit within the workplace? Where are people going to use this?
So I put it specifically in the handbook because the company that I was working with not only wanted it in the handbook, they've printed it out and they've put it in the employee break room. In essence, they wanted to make sure that everybody understands that yes, we're all different, but again, we all have to learn how to work with one another. And although we all have preconceived ideas of what is right and what is wrong, um, sometimes in the workplace, it just basically means that we have to accept that we're fundamentally different. And we're seeing more and more companies do that. And the reason is basically, what we've said all along. We just have to learn to work together.
Now, isn't this kind of in line with the harassment policy, though? I mean,
Absolutely.
when we do harassment, we're telling everybody, hey, we're all different. We need to learn how to communicate with each other. So why do we need a diversity statement?
Well, the reason why we need a diversity statement is because if you have funding that it's either federal or state, they're now requiring it to be in your handbooks and as part of your accepted policies. Because the state of California is seeing more and more people saying, well, I think it's because I'm being discriminated, without knowing that unless you belong to one of 20 protected classes, the state doesn't really see you as being discriminated. That doesn't mean that somebody did not have prejudices against you. It just means that you don't fit the definition. The other reason why you want to do this is because more and more companies want to take a stance to what they want their work environment to be and what they're providing the work environment for others. So I have had a few clients that have, at the end of that statement says, and if you violate this policy, then disciplinary action will be enacted up to and including termination. So again, I hate to say it, but it's almost like you can't be a jerk at work and then kind of claim that it's your right. Again, we have to learn to work with one another.
You can't be a jerk at work.
Yeah, sorry.
Wouldn't that be part of the inclusion part, though? Because that's just part of some people's personality.
Oh, wow. Well, I can't fix everyone. I could just give them the guidelines. This is what is expected. So I know that in a lot of ways, people will say, well, it just doesn't feel right for me to be nice all the time. And I know, I mean, not everybody could be in HR, so not everybody's wired to be nice to people. But at the same time, I think it's giving you guidelines. We're not asking you to do anything that is immoral, unethical, or that is basically wrong. We're just again saying while you're working in this environment, this is what we expect you behave as.
Well, it's like what our employers always said back in the day is just you don't have to like everybody here. You just have to be able to work with them while you are here.
Right, but you can't say it like that to people anymore.
Manner. You could back in
you could back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore. But no, I get what you're saying, and it's a very new world we're in where the rules are constantly changing.
And more and more companies are also going to need to have this sort of training in their workspace because we have a lot of people who are just ingrained in how they think people should be addressed. The pronouns are huge, and yet there's some people that refuse to accept pronouns. If I told you my pronouns are he and him, then I would expect that you respect that, just like I'm going to respect how you want to be talked to and how you want to be addressed. Basically, respect. And that's going to lead to the best relationships.
And it always does.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're all different, so we need to respect each other differently. And I know, when you're talking about the pronouns, the first time I received an email where somebody put the pronouns on it, I go, that's odd. Why would they do that? But then I looked into it a little bit more and I go, okay, I understand.
They're being courteous and telling you how you should address them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fine. Again, I'm not asking people to disclose anything personal. I'm just saying, give me the guidelines to be respectful and show you that I value you as a person. And if giving me your pronouns is how you're going to do that, then I'm going to accept it.
You're being proactive.
Absolutely. Well, see, that's the difference, though, between how we do HR and how others do it. There's a lot of people that will wait for a problem. We're anticipating and we're being proactive and saying, look, before there's an issue, let's have a process. Let's have a process to how people are going to perhaps file a complaint. Let's have a process for how we're going to handle this. Let's have a process so that we're not sitting there going, oh my goodness, now what do we do? Because by that time the clock is ticking and the person's looking at us from the employee side as what's taking so long? Why is no action being taken? I would much rather that my clients take action than be sitting there wondering what to do and then irrationally or emotionally react to something that they, if they had had the time, would not have done.
Fantastic. We are going to have a great show to segue.
Don't we
today.
always?
We always segue, but
No, don't we always have a great show?
we always. This week is going to be the best ever, to quote Josh D'Amigo,
Oh, why?
because every show is the best.
No,
ever.
meaning like, why is this one the best? Tell me, who's
Because
here?
Our guests are fantastic. We have Amy Bailey with us today from the Ventura Family YMCA. She's going to talk to us about the mission of the Y and what our annual campaign is all about. And I say "our" because I'm involved in the campaign. So I have an interest in what Amy says today.
Okay.
So she better get it right, or I'll report to the board that she didn't get it right. And we
Oh,
also
wow.
have Kevin Brannon with Reel Guppy Outdoors. Kevin has some really exciting news to share today.
Okay.
And I am so excited to get Kevin on. But you're going to have to wait a little while to hear with Kevin.
Okay.
Fun with HR is brought to you by the HR firm. You can reach them at 805-853-3476 because if you have employees, you have issues.
The HR firm is the premier human resource consulting firm in Ventura County, specializing in working with small to mid-sized companies. The HR firm provides a complete suite of offerings to keep your company compliant. The world has changed so much in this last year, and so have all the rules for you as the employee. Are you ready? From handbooks to policies and procedures to workers' compensation claim management, the HR firm is here to support you with all of your HR needs. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for you as a new client. Check them out on Facebook or Instagram or email them at info@thehrfirm.com. The HR firm. If you have employees, you have issues.
This is Bob Davis, Ventura County resident for over 50 years. Loan Depot and I have teamed up to provide fax and mortgage lending experience that gives you satisfaction that you want to share with people you love. 805-658-7435. That's 805-658-7435. Real, honest, and fair mortgage lending. NMLS 249185.
Clean, modern, engaging. Frenchie's is not your typical nail salon. We're better, way better. You'll find a friendly staff, a fun vibe, posh pampering without steep prices, and a super clean, inviting space that gives you all the good feels. To experience this for yourself, call us at 805-200-3883 or email us at ventca@frenchiesnails.com.
Hey employers, are you tired of spending your valuable time posting jobs on the job boards? Are you tired of looking through resumes to find that one diamond in the rough? Your time is way too valuable, so let the professionals at Atharva Workforce find that diamond in the rough for you. Spend more time on your business and less time looking for those employees. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
Tell me say one thing, Nancy can't understand. One thing, Nancy can't understand.
Whoa, I don't remember that song being on our...
Oh, it absolutely is. It's from my favorite movie ever.
Yeah, go ahead and let's hear it. Recite the movie, please.
I do that every night. No need to do it here.
For those of you that don't know, that is from The Interview.
It
If
is.
you haven't seen it, you got to see it. It's
And don't take it too seriously. It is just one of those movies. I'm sure we all have a list of movies that we just go to laugh because that's just what you need for that end of day.
It is. It's a movie you don't have to think about. Just enjoy.
And then if you ever see the interview around me, just prepare that I will give you the dialogue.
Rosandra will recite every line in the movie.
In character.
Anyway, Real Men Wear Pink Comedy Night is coming to Levity Live February 23rd at 8 o'clock p.m.
Okay.
You want to make sure you go to that. It's going to be a great show. Phil Medina, please support, because Phil Medina, and I heard all the comedians on the show that night are donating all of their paychecks to
Real Men Wear
American
Pink.
Cancer Society.
Nice.
Real Men Wear Pink. So
Nice.
let's fill the Levity Live and have a good time. Eat a lot of food, have a couple of drinks, and a lot of laughs.
I'm sure it's going to be a blast.
It's going to be great. But we have Amy Bailey with us today, and Amy
The
is a person,
Amy Bailey?
the Amy Bailey. She's somebody I wanted to have on this show since we started it, but I wanted to save her for campaign, because campaign is very important to the Y. Very, very important.
I know, and I know this firsthand because every February I know exactly where Jeff is going to be.
Yes, campaigning. But Amy, welcome today.
Thank you for having me.
So, for those of you that don't know Amy, Amy did not grow up here. She grew up in Baltimore. She's a Ravens fan.
Don't hold it against her.
Please don't.
I don't hold that against her, except for when my teams are playing. The
You have a
Ravens.
team?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Is it a secret?
I guess.
Okay.
I've never heard him say anything
We
like
almost
this.
made the playoffs this year for the first time in like forever. Miami.
Oh. Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's a secret. It's
Or-
Miami.
It's Miami, of course.
Kevin is, yeah. Anyway.
It's like when I say baseball, and he's like, really? And I say, yeah, I like the Astros. He's like, yeah, don't tell anybody.
Shh.
I know, right?
So Amy is like one of these people at the Y that there's quite a few of that are like lifetime employees of the Y.
Lifetime.
Amy's like 20 and she's been there for like 18 years now.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
That's how young I am. I hope I look that good. No.
Yeah. How long have you been at the Y?
16 years, going on 17 years. So it has been a
Okay,
long
it's
time.
been a long
It's been a
time.
long time.
Okay, I
What-
have to ask. 17 years almost.
Yes.
How has the Y changed from when you first started working there?
Oh, wow. It's grown tremendously, but it was, the Y, when I first started, it was really in a hard place. They were struggling financially. The programs were struggling. Membership was struggling. The facility itself was maybe not kept up as well. And so to see the transformation of where we were to where we're at today is just phenomenal.
Yeah, because, I came on the board and then everything turned around.
It was all Jeff, for sure.
Wow. So can I
I-
be
I
there at your
can't-
next board
Yes,
meeting where I announce that to
please.
them?
I cannot take credit for
He's
that.
very
There's-
humble about it.
There's
Of
a lot
course.
of there's a lot of truly great people on the board that have been there a long
time.
And I think that's a big part of the reason for the big turnaround, because the board members that Amy has are very passionate and they care, and they have no qualms about telling Amy when they think she's going a little bit off the rails.
They keep me in line for
They
sure.
keep her in line for sure.
But that's why I like them. If I just had that rubber stamp board, what fun would that be, right? Come on. So we've got a lively crew. There's many people that I'm sure you all know, but they definitely keep the Y running and in the right direction for the community. So I'm lucky to have everybody's support.
So one of the misconceptions that people have about the Y is it's a gym, and that's all it is.
Right? That is a misconception.
And we've been trying to get rid of that misconception forever. But why don't you tell everybody what the mission of the YMCA is?
Yeah, the original mission was to put Christian principles into practice through programs to build a healthy spirit, mind, and body. If you want to bring it up to today, right, it's really to strengthen the community through our 3 areas of focus. So that's youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And that's really what we concentrate on, and that can come in a gazillion different forms, but that's basically what we do. We set out to strengthen the community through those 3 areas. and we do it through a lot of programs.
And we have a lot of programs. Why don't you talk about a few of the biggest programs that we have at the Y?
Yeah, I mean, our aquatics program is one of the largest, but one of our outreach initiatives is third grade Learn to Swim. And that's something that's funded through campaign. So we set out to teach every third grader in the Ventura Unified School District that hasn't learned how to swim by third grade to swim. Because the statistics will show you if they don't learn by third grade, they most likely will never learn how to swim. And being a beachside community, Rosandra, right? If we need to learn how to swim, we need to be water safe. And I think that we've got a success story with you, right?
Absolutely. I made the mistake of just kind of commenting that I never learned how to swim, and I didn't realize Amber Stevens had overheard, and Ashley Pope overheard, and of course Jeff says, "Oh my goodness, well I have the perfect place for you to go to," and I thought, "Oh God, he'll forget about it," and he didn't.
Nope.
And I have to say, it was one of the scariest things I've ever done in my entire life, and the reason is, don't know if people or anybody realizes I'm a type A personality. So that means I need to be in control at all times. And putting me in the water when I didn't know what to do reminded me I was not in control, but it was the best experience. Amber, well, first of all, Amber was amazing and patient. And I hope that she's proud of the fact she gave me 2 lessons. Now, I know it sounds awesome that I learned to kind of swim in 2 lessons, but you have to remember between lesson 1 and lesson 2, there were about 4 months of everyday practice for hours. And I felt it was being more like torture. I was definitely being tortured. But, of course, being type A, I don't give up. And if I can't do something well, I'm not going to do it at all. And what swimming taught me was that I didn't have to do it well, but I had to be proficient enough to survive. And then once I got to that point, you couldn't keep me out of the water.
Yeah, there's a confidence that comes with that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I mean, as an adult, it's totally different because nobody likes to be taught something and then, be totally vulnerable. I don't know how to do this. I got to tell you guys, I didn't learn to, ride a bike till I was 13. I know, right? It was just yesterday. But, the whole point is that, my parents, I love them dearly. But if I didn't feel comfortable doing something, they didn't push me to do it.
Right.
And a lot of that simply kept me back.
Right.
And what I love about the Y is that it's not the parents that are there. It's a professional. It's safe. And more importantly, that confidence in a child that goes from, to you and me, it could be just swimming. But to them, it's life-changing. Yeah. They then have absolutely the ability to learn something and be okay with not being an expert and then gaining that proficiency.
It's so true. We see a lot of the kids that come in and then the parents come to us and say, well, I don't know how to swim either. Oh. So we're finding a lot of parents that end up in adult lessons, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Because then they can swim with their kids.
It is.
So
there's nothing better than getting in the pool with your kid. COVID has been a major hit.
It has.
I know. My hair's gray. My hair was black before I became the board chair for the Y. And then COVID hit.
So are you saying Amy's responsible for making you look distinguished?
For my grayness.
Well, I think I jinxed it though, because when it came to you and said, Jeff, will you please be the board chair? I said, it's going to be easy. It's fine. And COVID hit.
Wait. She said it was going to be easy?
Yeah, because, she did. And then Amy started her talk by how great everything is now. I think we gave almost everything back in the last year and a half that we had
built up.
But we're in a good place now. Things are turning around.
But I also have to say the community itself looks to you for when there's a need. Let's not forget what you did during the fires. During Thomas Fire, you absolutely were there for the community. When COVID hit, you were right there again for the community. So I think that when people think of the YMCA, there's that misconception it's a gym. But for a lot of people, it's actually kind of like a beacon because they know that if you're there, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's really nice to be in an organization where you can change literally on a dime, like whatever the need is at that moment. So if we need to open the doors, as at that, when the fires hit, it was, do people need a place to stay? I mean, we were calling board members and members and of their homes that we knew were possibly burning down and said, do you just need me to open the Y? I have showers. I have a place to sleep. Like, what do you need? And then to be able to fundraise to help those families too. So it's been interesting to run an organization that just isn't a gym and swim. It can be whatever the community needs at that point in time. And that's what we've tried to do the whole way. So whether it's COVID or whether it's, the fires.
And that's Amy and her crew for the time that I've known her. And that's why I really became involved in the Y, because if they see an issue, they get the program going the next day. Literally, the next day it'll be going. May not be perfect at that point, but it'll be going and it'll be functioning and people will be benefiting. And that's what I love about the Y, the responsiveness. But let's talk about campaign, Amy, because that's really where we get the money every year to scholarship. Literally hundreds of families in our community, because the motto at the Y is nobody ever gets turned away.
Right.
So the fact that you cannot pay your dues to belong doesn't matter. Come, apply for a scholarship, and we'll find a way to make it work. So why don't you talk about campaign, Amy, and what the goals are this year?
Yeah, so we have set out, and every February, thank you, Rosandra, for letting us have Jeff for the month of February. But every February, we
you
set
just want
out.
him for 1 month?
That's all, and then I'll give him back.
Okay.
But yeah, every February we set out to raise a certain amount of money, and this year the goal is $220,000, and it's a lot of money to raise. We try to do it in a month, so we'll wrap up on March 2nd. But all of that money goes to the free programs, the scholarships, and any of the other support services that the community needs at that time. And I mean, 100% goes back and then some, because we give out more than we actually fundraise at that point in time. So we're writing grants and trying to find other support. But it goes to all the programs that we just talked about. So whether it's third grade Learn to Swim, we've got Live Strong for our cancer survivors. That's a free 3-month program that we do as well. Operation Ventura, which Jeff, helped to pretty much start as Operation Splash, and that's really an initiative for outreach for children in homeless situations or foster care, and they are completely free programs. And so, to see where that's evolved from the past decade of when that started too, and so all of these funds go to help those outreach initiatives and the families and the kids that need it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe Operation Ventura is 10 years old.
It's older than 10 years.
It's older than 10 years.
I think we're on almost 13
Yes.
at this
Is
point.
it that long?
Yes,
It's been
that
3
long.
years since you were president a second time.
See how time flies, Jeff?
Wow.
And the only reason I say that is because I wanted to make sure that I mentioned this. So to Jeff, there was nothing more important than making sure that program not only was sustained, but that it evolved. And the reason is because for him, it's how he is, I'm hoping, going to leave his mark in Ventura. But he's involved in so many things that
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure
is.
there's going to be Jeff all over.
I don't know when he sleeps, but yes.
He doesn't. He doesn't. But the other thing that I wanted to say about campaign, though, is I particularly love the meetings because I love the training that everyone gets. It's the gentle ask and the very big grateful thank you. And the other part is that's where I get to see a lot of what campaign does.
Mm-hmm.
And as a community, I think that if people just went on your website and they saw what campaign has contributed and what you've been able to achieve, there'd be no challenge, because people just want to give and give and give.
Right.
But because not everybody wants to just do that, tell me, when are we actively in campain now?
We are kicking off. Yes, we are literally kicking off tonight. So tonight, our campaigners, we have about 62 volunteers that are setting out this evening. So there's a drive-through that our teams, we call our team section. We're trying to be as COVID safe as possible.
Good.
And so they're doing a drive-through tonight to pick up all their packets and get all the information that they need. And then we'll do a virtual campaign check-in next week. and then we have a week off. And then the following week, we were thinking about hopefully being able to do it in person, but seeing the COVID numbers right now, we'll probably have to go to virtual on that. So even COVID's kind of changed the way that we do our campaign report nights too. But we still set out to make it fun. And you know, Victory last year, we did a campaign in your car event, so everybody could drive up and grab their own personal pizza, and we were handing out snacks and things like that, and a big movie screen. So if we are still in that place, we'll still have a campaign in your car event, which will be fun.
That was fun, though.
That was. So tell
We
me,
enjoyed it.
how do people get involved in campaign?
They just need to reach out to Amy, or just reach out to the Y and go, I would like to be involved in campaign. Or if you just like to make a donation, if you heard it on this show, reach out and go, hey, Jeff Hotta said to call and make a donation.
Jeff needs that for his team.
I need that for my team.
He's
But,
so competitive.
He is.
He's so competitive.
I
love
you'll
it.
be joining our team for Fun with HR at Ought to Run too, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
We will support for sure.
It's one of those things that I think that's what makes him, so fun to be around, because you never know what he's going to come up with.
Nope. And he'll get you too.
Yeah. Well, I like to say he's constant. He's the silent constant.
Oh, that's a good way to put
In
it.
the sense that he's not going to ever talk in like big. I mean, I'm the loud one. Let's face it. We all know I'm the loud one. Jeff is more like, I've always said he's my understated strength.
There you go.
When I need like that rock,
He's there.
he's there.
And
Nothing phases him.
He carried us through COVID. I mean, it was, and thank goodness with the background that you all have, because every day I'm like, now what? What am I dealing with now? And it's still changing. So,
yeah, I mean, I call Amy and she go, okay, what changed today?
Here we go.
Well, that was actually the fun part, though, because I remember while we were taking care of all our clients, Jeff, you're never far from his mind.
I felt it.
And it's like, okay, this is because he felt responsible not just for the employees, but for everybody that came to the Y.
Right.
And of course, I mean, we have multiple generation Y people in our household. So my parents have been loving the camaraderie in the senior community.
Yeah.
And they've made friends. And I mean, we even got my mom in the pool. Granted, she has a noodle, but I think
So
that's
sweet.
just because
So
she
sweet.
Yeah. I'm constantly asking her for her noodle.
She has one under her
There
bed.
you go.
Just in case Jaws
And-
comes.
and,
Just in case.
When we said tsunami from Tonga
Yeah.
volcano, she grabbed her noodle.
Bless her heart.
I was
She did.
walking around.
She did. She's
Anyway.
like, it's mine.
No,
But-
I felt it. And, Jeff would check in and he was like, this is what's changing. And it was a constant reassurance
Yeah,
that it was like, if I wasn't
absolutely.
on top of it or if I could possibly miss something, Jeff had my back. So yeah, just huge thanks to Jeff. He's done a ton for the YMCA. I appreciate you guys having me on here too, to just be able to speak about campaign, but it's board members like Jeff that keep the organization going.
With that, Amy, thank you for coming on the show
Thank
today.
you for having me.
And we will be reporting how we're doing in campaign.
Okay.
Because after we're done, I will be announcing a really big number, I have a feeling, so can't wait for that.
Yes.
Fun with HR is brought to you by our Tharva Workforce. You can reach them at 805-826-0033. Because if you think hiring a professional is expensive, wait until you hire an amateur.
If you don't have an illness and injury prevention program, COVID prevention program, safety program, or emergency action plan, you could have Cal OSHA knocking on your door with a notice of violation and fines. If you need help creating these programs or help refreshing your existing program, contact the HR firm. They can walk you through the safety maze to get your company compliant while helping you keep your employees safe. They even do in-house training. They offer a complimentary 1-hour consultation for new clients. Check them out on Facebook or Instagram, or email them at info@thehrfirm.com. The HR Firm. If you have employees, you have issues.
Mortgage, a crazy method to borrow money. Do you know Bob Davis? He's been in Ventura County since 1967, in the loan business since 1985. Loan Depot and Bob Davis teamed up to provide honest and fair mortgage lending for everyone. Call 805-658-7435. Loan Depot and Bob Davis, real, honest, and fair mortgage lending. Call 805-658-7435. NMLS 249185.
Your not so typical nail studio. There's a revolution happening in nail care, and you're invited to join in when you visit the Ventura Harbor Village. Just walk into Frenchie's Modern Nail Care Studio and you'll know you're in for something that's beyond your typical medi-pedi experience. Call us at 805-200-3883 or email us at venturaca@frenchiesnails.com to book your next experience.
Finding people to add to your team can be difficult when you don't know where to start. Do you even have a job description? Do you know how much you should be paying them? Do you even know where to find the right people for your team? Let the professionals at Atharva Workforce help you get started and find your next star employee. Spend time on your business, not searching for that new star employee. Call Atharva Workforce at 805-826-0033.
Another song from that movie. You gotta watch the interview, everybody.
And I tend to dance.
Welcome back to Fun with HR. You do dance. We're gonna get video of that one day.
Eventually.
Atharva Workforce is currently looking for window washing technicians, bookkeepers, back office dental assistants, sales associates, and jewelry associates. If this is you, call Isaac at Atharva Workforce, 805-826-0033.
So, one of the things that I have to say is I had every intention of getting up on a certain Sunday to go fishing, and it just never happened. And so I want to, I want to acknowledge that I failed, and I want to make sure that, what am I being, you're calling me out?
Yeah, because you said you couldn't swim, and I heard you say you could swim now. That's why you didn't fish, right? So
I could.
I was just going to,
Yeah, see,
no excuses now.
There's no excuses now. Although I've never swam around the pier, and I'm told that should be my next goal.
From zero to hero, huh?
Yeah, well,
Hey, I'm a surfer, and I've never swum around the pier, so I don't know where'd you get your info.
You got to do that with the junior lifeguards.
Yeah, we jump off the pier with the junior lifeguards since we were kids, but around the pier, towards the end, I get a little nervous around being that far away, but, so...
I don't think of it as being nervous being that far away. I just think of it as, if I get tired, what do I do?
I say more like eerie. That's what freaks me out. I just think, wow, this is like, I always say there's two words you don't want to hear the word oops. Two places you don't want to hear the word oops, and it's the operating table and the ocean. So I don't want to.
You're absolutely right.
So same thing if you get tired, you're like, oops,
Yeah.
So.
No. You're absolutely right, and that's why I was told never put your back to the ocean. Make sure that and of course I didn't listen. And what happened in Hawaii?
You got rolled.
I got rolled. But you know what? I just want to know, I want you to know that the reason why I didn't panic was because Amber did an amazing job at teaching me what to do. And I kind of figured, okay, I'm in the water, which is what I wanted to do. Might as well swim. So I turned it into a positive.
My life flashed before my eyes when that happened, because I figured you were going to freak out, but you didn't.
No,
so kudos to Amber.
You didn't go into like Mitch Buchanan and Baywatch and
no.
Well, I was
running
to be able to reach and grab her, and she's just rolling in the water laughing. So you're okay.
All right.
Let her be.
No, didn't need that. But that would be interesting to catch on, kind of like video of.
On the...
I'll be ready.
That's
right.
Kevin, though, I could talk to you forever, but let's talk about what's exciting and new in your life.
Let's see here. A couple things, actually. In my life, working down at the sport fishing, I got another job cooking on a boat. I'll be working on the whale watching boat starting this weekend. The boat I was working on as a cook, I am the ghetto gourmet, the dizzle with the sizzle. I got my little crawdad cafe thing. I was working on the Gentleman, but they went to dry dock for repairs before the season opens, and they hired me on the other boat that they just bought called the Island Fox to work Monday and Tuesday as a cook starting in the new season. So my life's pretty good. I get to work at the landing. I get to cook on boats, and then we got this great new learning center coming out, and the Guppies is now in public schools, and we're doing Sunkist Elementary School every Wednesday until the summer. So, and I just dropped a new episode today of Roll English Fishing Show, fly fishing at Santa Rosa Island. So yeah, I'm living the dream.
I love it. See, I'm not the only one that says that. I'm living the dream.
Living the dream.
Well, tell us about this learning center.
All right, so we are opening up the Guppies. We were going to call it Guppy Pro Shops, but we changed the name to the Dockside Learning Center, and it's going to be a multimedia facility. It's right there in the Channel Islands Harbor where the Fisherman's Wharf is at. If you're familiar with that area, kind of where Missy's Cupcake was at, we're just to the left of that, over by the Elite Theater, and we're right behind the Oxnard College Marine Center. So we have a great place for the educational touch tanks and stuff that we want to incorporate in our program, because our Guppy program isn't just about catching whoppers, it's about catching memories, but also the educational part that we have here in the Channel Islands. So it's just like the way the Lord just keeps putting things in our path. We got a great grant from an organization called From Justice Outside, and we got a grant for 2 years, so that's going to cover the cost of the facility. And it's just, man, it's blowing up like basically doodles, right? All the stuff you see here, these papers, they start on composition books as doodles, and then I write it down, and then I put it on, my little notepad for my iPhone, and then I make it, something to send to my team. And want to say thank you to the team, because I have a great team that supports me, like she was just talking about, to make this happen. But the community efforts are coming together. The stuff that's getting done as far, because the Channel Islands Harbor hasn't really been utilized a lot, It's kind of deteriorating to some degree, so we had to put some work into the facility. So, but it's cool to have kind of like that old, like iconic feel to it still, but some of the interior work. So we had to put in the new multimedia section, build like a little office in there, because they had like a closet only. We had to put some carpet in there. So it's kind of cool, like watching it come together when we had like just doodles to a vision board, right, written out, and then now actually like breaking ground and doing it. So we're trying to make sure, or I'm going to make sure that through the process, like I don't skip over any of that to see it like your vision and your dream come, and the blessings that we get in the community and the team, and not bypass any of that in a hurry just to get to the ribbon cutting on the 17th, but to enjoy that process all the way through.
Is that February 17th?
February 17th from 5 to 6, we're going to do a combined chamber ribbon cutting. So we have the West Coast, what are they, Alliance, Camarillo and Oxnard merged.
Oh, that's right.
And then Ventura. So they're going to come out, and we got people from the port. We got people from the Seat of Wainimi. They're going to give us a check from the benefit, community benefit fund. Who else do we have? You're coming out, right?
I'm coming.
That's right. He's going to come out, and he's going to do his check thing. Props to them. I talked to Margarita today from Poinsettia Pavilion, and we're going to do a crab boil over there. So, man, it's just the community is just coming together. So this is going to be a big event. The director from the harbor's coming out. There's a new harbor director. Which is cool about what's going on is that it seems like the harbor is trying to grow in education with our what we do is trying to like get kids new field trips, like you talked about the Encyclopedia Britannica. You had Google, but now people want even hands-on experience, like really get a chance to do it. So we're at a great time to be opening up this learning center for all these things to come together, just like she talked about the YMCA and the community. And again, it's not just a fishing program, it's education, family engagement, water safety, marine studies, biology. There's so many cool things that we're going to offer at this learning center besides just fishing. We have a whole list here that I brought just to kind of go over some ideas. Bike rides, there's small boats, there's sea bass pens in the harbor. There's so many things that are still in the Channel Islands Harbor that people might not know either. So if we could partner with them and network and also bring people down kind of as a tourism, we're just looking forward to doing all that cool stuff right there in the Channel Islands Harbor.
Here's the thing that amazes me about you, Kevin. You spoke to my Rotary Club, man, it was probably a little bit over a month ago. And when Kevin did his presentation, you had storyboards with drawings on this is going to be our learning center. And generally my experience is somebody has things on a board, it's like a year or two away. It takes them that long to get it done. Kevin announces that he's going to do this, and here we are, a month and a half, a month later, and it's going to open. And that is how Kevin does things. If he sees something, he just goes for it and makes it happen. And that's what I truly love about Kevin, too.
Thank you. Well, I gotta get choked up. I'm just the vessel, man. It's funny, we talk about partnerships, and I've been told I'm a vessel. I'm just a servant, Again, it is a community thing. We have Ventura County is such a cool place, right? Like you talk about the fires burn, and when happens food share, there's just, if you're going to do something and you got like an idea as far as community goes, I don't think you could pick a better place for support than Ventura County. So that's been a big help. Again, the blessings that we have, definitely strategic planning. I want to thank my team. I have the best team. I like to thank God, my family. I know this isn't like the Grammys, but I just want to make sure that I don't take my eyes off the fact that I'm the one that's the face of it, but there's more that goes on behind the scene. You know, having a team that believes in you makes it, you know, here's my idea. Again, I come with my scribbles, right? And I got to formulate it and put it together and then present that to them. And then they go, well, Kev, can we? I'm like, well, I kind of already committed. So I guess we kind of got to do it anyway, you know, but you guys
got to find
you know,
a way.
Right. But that's good because our track record of it. But again, that just goes back to the studying that I've done through the chambers and like for small business development or nonprofit with the chambers and just going to mixers and meeting people and sending emails and all the stuff that it takes that people don't see the hours of. We've been doing this, 9 years? I was thinking there's some, for KVTA in the morning show, I've been doing the fish report here for like 9 years, you know, and how long we've been doing this to where we're at today. So you see these things that are happening today, but you know, there's a lot of days where it's trial and error and trying to get it together, especially when you're building it from the ground up like this, you know. But this is something I found that I wanted to do. So there's a lot of learning that went along with it. So when you see these days, again, thank you. You just got to execute, man. You know, just have faith. What if it all goes right? You know, what if it all goes right? Instead of what can go wrong, what if it all goes right? You know, so I kind of keep that mentality.
So when is your next fishing day on the pier?
Yes.
It'll be next week, actually. So again, well, this
Like
is for the school because of the fact that we're doing school trips. Actually, no, tomorrow. There's a check it out on this. There is a senior citizen retirement community where the men are tired of doing bingo and arts and crafts, so they're trying to find them a new something to do, and they reached out to us too. So that's how we're serving the community as well. So we're gonna have some senior citizens show up tomorrow and come out and fish with us. Clearwater or something, a retirement over at River Park.
They're over by the collection.
Yeah. So they're coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
So we're going to take them out, and then next week we'll do it. But our regular kid fishing day, the next one is the 27th of February. It's always on the fourth Sunday from 8 to 10. But, man, the phone's ringing. I got 3 other scout troops that want to come out, so we're going to have other days available. We have we work with Pacifica High School. We're doing a boat trip with them on the Ranger 85. It's just like really, again, I hope I don't commit to too much and we're understaffed, you know, because we're pretty much volunteer based, and except for me, I'm the only part-time staff person. And, but you know, again, you commit. When I first started doing the Guppy days, we would just kind of pick a day. Like, let's just try this Saturday. Let's try this day. And I was always nervous that we wouldn't have enough resources to do it. And then some days I'd be like trying to stop kids on their bike and they're, you know, come and fish, because we always had more than enough. So I've seen early on with our blessings that if I just do it, we always have enough. So that's why another part of the committing, because, you know, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but it always seems like everything falls into place. So if somebody calls us, and I hate to say the word no, I just try to fit it on the calendar and, you know, see what we could accomplish.
That's really good, though, because I think nowadays a lot of kids find wonder in the process of fishing. It's not so much catching the fish, but it's the prep, it's the sitting there, it's the creating memories, all of that. I mean, as much as we'd love to say that we do the same in front of a TV, it's just not the same. It never is the same. And then what you're doing with your volunteers is you're also pairing people that have the passion for that, and that in itself ignites the passion in the kids. So it's you're definitely a vessel. You're the reason why a lot of kids are going to continue to fish, and hopefully they're going to join you and teach more kids how to fish.
Yeah. The thing you talked, I'm sorry, Jeff, hold on. Just the thing you talked about, what she said, the YMCA is also getting the family engagement. If we could teach the parents, just like you teach them to swim, so that's a big push of what we're doing now. So we try to get as many parents, whether it's the kid day, they have to bring a parent, but if it's with the school, they only bring like 5. But again, if we continue to teach the family, then hopefully they'll keep that tradition going.
And, you know, I think that's the thing that makes Kevin's program so
unique.
Not unique, but so effective, because fishing, I love to fish, and Rosandra just can't understand it.
I can't sit still.
Why do you want to throw a line in the water and wait for the fish to come? But I go, it's not about the fishing. It's about who you're with. And it's like Kevin says, it's creating the memories. So if you're there with a group of friends, you may not catch anything, but you had a great day anyway. If you're there with your father, because I used to go fishing with my father and my grandfather, it's the memories. You have those memories forever that you did that with them. And then there's times when you could just go fishing by yourself just because you need someplace to go to have your thoughts and decompress, and fishing is a great way to do that. So that's why I think Kevin's program is so important and so effective, because it's teaching these children and these families that get to participate that here's a way to get the family together and bond.
Well, we were just talking also earlier this week about what my parents used to do. You know, they used to do a lot of the things. They try to be as accommodating, and we weren't a big family. It was just my parents and my brother and myself for a long time until, you know, my sister came along. But it's a relatively small family. But if you take those same numbers and apply it to things like Disneyland nowadays, it's cost prohibitive. You have to do a lot. But what you're offering is a way for people to spend time with their kids, make memories, and at the same time also, you know, forge that connection that they should have with one another.
Yeah, 100%
Love it.
correct. Yeah. The cool last thing before we run out of time is that, you know, today we took the kids out today, right? And you could see the kids that want to be biologists that stop and want to play with, check out the hoop net and see what kind of bait we have. Then you have, like, we called them the diehards, because that wind was blowing so crazy today. There's still 6 kids at the end of the pier, just like with the wind blowing and fishing. So you get a chance to check out the ocean. I mean, we live in the coolest place on the planet, the Channel Islands National Park, right? So there's that aspect that, again, that our teaching center is that beautiful place, you know, right behind in our backyard, right? So again, it crosses over from, again, fishing to hands-on to science and all that cool stuff. So that's what we try to incorporate. And the last thing, I said that already, is when I was doing research development with my kid as a scout or on a baseball team and I was coaching, I would always see how the kids that didn't like it, like, what else did they like to do? So let the kids explore. You know, some kids don't want to do it they want to do their own thing. So that's what we allow them to do. And I think that really helps us.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, Kevin. We enjoy what you're doing, and we will get Rosandra out there to participate one day, maybe
One
the
day.
27th.
Yeah.
We're going to mark that down. Fun with HR is brought to you by the professionals at the HR firm and the Tharva Workforce. We take care of each other so we can grow together. Until next week, when we will be talking to Shannon Rice from Puranos, Tricia Berga from a Tharva Workforce, and our county auditor controller is going to be here to talk, Jeff Berg. You don't want to miss that one. We'll see you all next week. Thank you.
I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey. I'm out of time and all I got is 4 minutes. 4 minutes, hey.